Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Beauty on a Budget. My name is Heather and today is Thursday, November 20th of 2025. So I'm getting ready to figure out decorations for my house here. So I want to do the front entrance, kitchen, and the living room. That's the three areas I want to work on over this next few days. So yesterday I was trying to figure out figuring what I need and just trying to figure out, like color scheme, things like that, what I want. And I've just decided I want to make it so simple this year. Just do something so it's going to be a little tricky given my previous so many years of what I use for decor in my own house. And so this year I decided I'm just going to go with red. That's it. I'm not doing these fancy color schemes, pastels, and all these other things. I'm just going to go with the standard red for just doing my basic decorating. So I've got one roll of this red felt ribbon from the dollar store. So from Dollarama. I've had this for quite a few years. You can tell how dinged up the box is. And this was 30 feet. I was at the dollar store yesterday. They're now $2.50 and you only get like 20 or 25 feet. So I was trying to figure out how much of that I will need. So for my kitchen, I guess for the ribbon part, this will be for my living room. There we go. That's what I meant. For my living room, what I want to do is I want to put like a ribbon, like a cross kind of a thing on the door. So I've got 2 on my china cabinet and 4 on my entertainment center. So I had figured out how much each door was and how many feet of ribbon I'm going to need. And so I'm going to have to go and buy about 4 more of these rolls of ribbon, just based on what I'm seeing in front of me and now how much you get on the rolls, unless I do something a little different. But I just want to do something so kind of really simple, but again, a little bit different than the way I normally decorate for Christmas. Then the other thing is, I want to do that one I've wanted to do for so long, and that is to have like all the wreaths on your upper cabinets in the kitchen. It's something I've always wanted to do, but having kids and pets and things at the other house, I just never did it. So yesterday I went and I measured everything, so how big my cupboards were. So I got my kitchen, I've got them in 3 main sizes for the cupboards. I've got the 4 that are above the stove, the 4 that are above the fridge, and the 4 that are above the sink. And then I also have how many what size of wreath would go on top of or on each of those cupboards. And then I also want to make I'm trying to read this. My kitchen window. So I got 2 kitchen windows. I want to put wreaths in the windows. I've got the 1 window in my front entrance. So I want to put a wreath on that in that window. And then my living room, I actually have a bay window. So I thought it'd be kind of neat to put the wreaths on the 2 side windows. So in total, the different wreaths I have. So I've got 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, and 16-inch. So I need to make 4 8-inch, 4 10-inch, 6 12-inch, and 3 16-inch. So that's a lot of wreaths I want to make, and I just want to make them simple out of the garland. It's all in my boxes that I just kind of brought in. And so I figured out how many I needed to make, how long each of those would be. So I need 48 feet of garland just to make these wreaths. And I think I said it was 17 wreaths is what I will need if I do this. I don't know if I'm going to, it's just kind of one of those things like, planning on doing that. So this morning I just went out to my shed and I just grabbed this 1 box and 3 bags of Christmas decor. In fact, our one little shed is full of nothing but Christmas decor. So I got to this first box. This box I wasn't going to grab, but I saw the ornament. So I've got red and green. Oh, this has got some gold in it as well. So I've got these packs of ornaments. which I thought would really help me be able to do the wreaths. I mean, I did see the color red was my main color, but I do like the red and green. I don't really know about if the gold is gonna work with my kind of way I was looking at things. Although they might, I don't know. I've had these for so many years. You can see they're still sealed. So this would have been when the dollar store or Dollar Tree was still like $1, maybe $1.25 an item. So that's how long I've had these. And I have lots of floral picks as well that have not been opened yet. Oh, look at that. I've got a pack of little decorative bows too. I've got a whole bunch of stickers. I've got some nice the felt little bows. There's little mini stockings in here. I've got a pair of nice white birds. And I got some Christmas little guys sitting here. I've got SpongeBob dressed as a Rudolph, and I've got the Grinch. That must mean there's got to be a few more of those Christmas characters down in here somewhere. I've got all my little table scatter or confetti type stuff in here. I actually use these and glue them down on pieces. I don't really like the idea of spreading that stuff across the tables because I had kids and pets. I've got lots of bells. So this is going to be an interesting box to go through, but what I really was looking for was what I really wanted to do is go to the shed and get the garland, because that is what I need to know, is how many feet of garland I have. I also know that the only ribbon I have is what I already have down in my basement. So I brought my container of ribbon up yesterday and kind of went through it yesterday when I was figuring out what I wanted to do. Thought that was a good start. Like, start with pulling out all my Christmas ribbons, seeing what I have, what I want to use. So I don't have to buy anything. And then this one here, this is what I have to go through. So there's my Betty Boop dressed as a reindeer. She needs to get washed. Yeah, so what I'm looking for is the garland. So I've got some in this bag, and then those two bags there are also full of garland. So I'm just going to go and pull all the garland out. I'm just going to dump these out. I don't want to film myself dumping out and making a big mess. I'm going to get glitter and stuff everywhere. So I will be back as soon as I've got all the garland out of the bags. Alright, so I got all the garland out. I measured one of these. I had them all looped up into separate bundles, and it was almost 15 feet. So I think I have, enough garland. I'm going to double check later. Just when my daughter's home, she can help me hold them straight so I'm getting the correct lengths of them. So I think I have enough of that. I also found 4 of these little mini trees. But the one is the light green, or I don't know, this shade of green, and then I have 3 that are this shade of green. They don't seem to have their stands, but that's okay because I can use them for other things. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing yet this Christmas for crafting, but there is the 4 of those. Like I said, well, this one did have its stand. I took the stand off. It had just 2 of its legs, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them. And they also just lay flatter if it doesn't have its legs on. So I think I have enough garland for most of the wreaths I want to make. Like I said, I'll just double check that I've got that correct. And then I have this one here, and it's got some full berries in it, and it also has the lights. And I actually bought this at a secondhand store thinking that it lit up, only to come home and find out that somebody had cut the cord, so you can't plug it in. And I think I might make a nice wreath out of this. I'll have to go and untangle the cord out of here. That's going to take some time. I'll probably do that later tonight, just when I'm watching TV. That's usually the easiest time. Just undo this and find where each of these are clipped in. Actually, I may have to cut the clips. Nope. There we go. Just have to figure out how it works. I'll just go through and I will just take the lights out. And as I'm going through these little berry picks, they seem to be wired in with the lights as well. So it's such a nice one. I think this will be the perfect size to make the wreath for my front door or my back door, actually. Just kind of loop it into like a wreath form, kind of doubling it up. A little hard to do with one hand, but and then of course I found more stockings, and I found my table runner, and that's the Thomas Kinkade. I like this one. Not sure where I will be using it, probably just on the entertainment center. I found a whole bunch of my large acorns. I know they need some work. They're kind of falling apart, but all I'm going to do is just peel off any of these top ones here and then just trim off this extra little stem here. Depending on how they're in the box, you know, in a basket or something, you may or may not be able to see them. But this has got this huge stem part here, so if I just somehow cut it off with pliers, and then it's going to look, I think it'll look so much nicer, not having all this extra loose stuff. And these are just, a bunch of these are falling off, so I'm just going to throw these in with my potpourri. Found two of these. So it's called a topiary ball, and this one here is kind of like the mistletoe. So I found these, so definitely have to use these somehow, for at least this one. I wanted to use this one last year. Oops. And you know, just didn't happen. I don't really remember what happened, but it kind of got misplaced and I just never got a chance to use it. But I think this year I'm going to. This one here is more like a spring through autumn kind of a cluster. It's not really a Christmassy one, so I'll, you know, stick it with my florals. I found some more little mini Christmas ornaments. I found a pack of the little Christmas with the truck, you know, little truck with the Christmas trees. Again, like I said, I found more stockings. I did find my other little thing. I had these out the other day. Again, it doesn't have batteries because I try to store them without batteries. I found another little angel. I know I had lots of these at one point. Found more velvet bells. Or velvet bows. So just velvet bows, and this pack here has the bells attached. I know what I'm trying to say. And then, just with how much room the garland took, it was hard to do this. I found some of the bottle brush trees. I have this light pink pack and this gray pack. I found my Santa little display here. This pack of these apples. I never got a chance to use them. I had a couple packs of them. Are they strawberries? Oh, I don't know. The shape now looks like strawberries, not apples. I don't know. Not quite sure what I'll do with them. I just thought they're red. They kind of Christmassy. I found my little Christmas plaque. I found my Son of a Nutcracker, Buddy the Elf. When I first grabbed this out of the box, it was frozen, so it's slowly, becoming liquid again. So still got some ice chunks in there, so just going to let this to keep warming up and defrosting. I have my little clear plastic nativity scene. This one actually still has the battery still in it, but it just goes through the different colors. And then I have 3 of these little houses here that had probably popcorn in them, I believe. One of them has little candles in them. So leave the candles inside. I want to do something with these. I'd love to paint these this year and, dress it up, make it look a little bit more interesting. I also found these 2 little picture things. They actually still have their batteries in, which I was surprised because, like I said, I try to take the batteries out, but occasionally I miss. And then I even wrote on the sides as to what they were. So this red one makes a snowman, and the green one has the red truck. So now I've got all this stuff here. So I definitely know I need more red ribbon. And then I also probably will need some more garland. I'm just going to figure out how much I need and how much I have and just kind of play around with that. And then I will be back as when I come back with the ribbon, I'm going to put the ribbon on my china cabinet and entertainment center doors. Right, welcome back. So I was pulling out everything I would need to do my kitchen table. So I've got my Christmas tablecloth, and then I've got a few different sets of my Christmas napkin rings, and I have my Christmas napkins. So I just have to decide which of these napkin rings I'm going to use. And I think I'm leaning more towards these ones. They're so simple, but they've got all the colors. They're red and green, and then they've got the gold, and my napkins have the gold on them. So I think that's the ones I'm going to go with. But I decided to bring the Christmas ones, so the best looking Christmas ones, out before I make that final decision. I found a whole bunch of these. So I do have 8 of these cloth napkins. I actually use them for 2 things. I have used them for napkins. I've also used them as placemats, or even like doilies or something on like the coffee tables and end tables in the past. So I've got 8 of them. Then I've got my 2 table runners. I got this one. It's a nice velvet with the beads. I think I'm going to use this one because of the colors. I think I'm going to use it from now on my entertainment center or my china cabinet. I'm not quite sure which it will fit best on. But the colors in here, it's that nice gray, all the little silverish beadworks. It's going to work, year round. And then I do have my Christmas runner here, and it is, I gotta find his name is, it's the Thomas Kincaid. And so I'm gonna get this out so you can see. I love this one. All these classic, paintings done in the tapestry. It's just perfect for Christmas. And I know I bought this a couple of years ago at Value Village, and I know I paid a little more than I would have, but I know I put other things back to make it worth it. So this, I think I'll put this one on my entertainment center for Christmas, and I'll just put this one up on my china cabinet. And then after Christmas, I think I'm going to use this one permanently on my entertainment center. And then I've got the 2 cushions that I made last year for Christmas, or was it the year before? Now I can't remember. I make cushions almost every year. So I honestly don't remember if I made these last year or the year before. Anyways, so they just need a good clean. And I'm going to put them up on my window ledge, kind of where my cats sit. They seem to enjoy me putting pillows up there. And then this is just my everyday tie backs for my living room curtains. I just found them when I was looking for the other stuff. So I have 3 of the burgundy ones, 2 of this cream color, 2 green, and 2 black. And so I'm just gonna figure out what I'd like to do, because my husband says the curtains need a tie back, and he's right. And I told him I had lots, just had to find them. So these ones here had these ones for quite a long time. They need to be cleaned. I don't know why we're just down to like 3. I know there was so many of them. And I like this cream color, and I like this sage green. But I'm thinking for Christmas, I might do the burgundy, or I might just do this. And then I just have these small little black ones, which I think I'm going to use these in my bedroom to tie back the curtains during the day. So those were just down there when I was finding all this other stuff. So I decided to bring them up. These ones definitely need to be, need a good wash. And then I have this little tablecloth here. I have used this for either, my tree sits on it, or I've just on the tables or on the little ottomans. It's just a versatile little placemat. Not quite sure if I'm going to use it. It's blue. I'm saying my color scheme is red, so it might not work. But I just thought there was some of the Christmas stuff, so I thought, no, it needs a wash too. I might as well just grab it. And then I couldn't find my Christmas placemats, but I do have these red faux leather ones. They might work for now. Just, I'll see how they look. Depending on how busy everything is, if they look good or not. But thought I'd rather just bring them up and give them a try. Then I have a reindeer blanket that I just put on the ottoman. So that is easy to do. And then I have this little mat here. So I'm going to put this one by my front door. It looks like it's got some, it needs to be cleaned. I don't know what that is, like paint or something on there. It's okay. But yeah, like I said, the stuff was, down in the basement. It needs to get cleaned. So I'm just going to go, anything that has to get washed, I'm going to go and wash. And then I will be back to set my kitchen table. All right, so I'm going to set my kitchen table up first tonight. Like I said, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use these or if I'll use these as my placemats. I'm going to try it in both ways. Like I said, I think I'm really liking these candy cane striped napkin rings versus the plain red ones or the plain green ones. I've got all of this stuff all washed, so I can just put it down on my table. I'm just going to get this even. And I like that it's got like even rows, so I can like count how many rows are over the edge. And I can just see, yeah, this side is way too long, so I got to pull it down more this way. I think that side's still a little bit too long. That looks more even. And I have the plastic tablecloth cover. Now this one I did not buy. This one I would have gotten free or something, or in something, because it is too small for this table, but it just gives me enough something to help hold the tablecloth down in place. I had to throw the other one out because it had just totally, ripped. So I have not seen these at the dollar store for quite a while. Excuse me. So next time I'm at the dollar store and I see them, I'm gonna have to buy a couple. I know I don't have little kids, but like I said, I find that this just weighs the tablecloth down. So when we walk by, we're not sliding the tablecloth off. And because it's not big enough the right way, it's a little tricky to get this to lay flat and smooth. See, that's good enough for now. I'm gonna set the red placemats in place. And I'm thinking these are probably the wrong shade of red, but even if I just use them for now, it just gives me an idea of, that one's very dirty, just kind of gives me an idea of where everything's going to go. Now the red is looking a little too dark, but I know I have got Christmas placemats somewhere, and then if I do these ones are just not the right size. They're just going to, hide the more of the table. These were a good one to use for placemats when I had my larger kitchen table. So I'm just going to go and grab the dishes and get the dishes out here. So I'm using the rose-colored little saucers, plates, and cups. And then I have these little salad or dessert bowls, and they just make the table setting look really good. And now to do my napkins, the easiest way I find is I just kind of fold them. It's been a while since I've done this, so I just fold them. And then I'm just going to grab the napkin ring here, and as I slide it, it's supposed to, except it did, but I've got it folded backwards, or slid it backwards, because I want to be able to see the poinsettia. Retry this. And then you can always just fold it like that. Just tuck it all in. Now that will just sit there. I'm just going to do the other ones because my phone is about to stop. Yeah, sorry, my phone said it was low on memory. So what I did was I want to see how this would look. So I took the other napkins, laid them over top of the placemat, and just kind of rolled and tucked it in under the top here. And just put the dishes back in place. And then I've got poinsettia from the napkin, or for using it as a placemat, is on the left-hand side. And then the napkin is on the right side. Maybe I'll flip it this way. So then the poinsettias will be diagonal to each other. Actually, no, I really like how that looks. So my table is almost completely set up, but I just wanted to do this quickly with the other napkin rings so I can see how they look. It still looks good, but I'm just looking at it with everything else. It just really is too shiny and just kind of really sticks out. And then this thin red one here, it looks good too, but the red just, it just kind of blends in with everything and you don't see it. So I'm going to stick with the ones I really like, and that's red and green and gold. There we go. So we'll get the red matches the red, the gold matches the gold in here, and then the green is going to pick up all the other green accessories. So I think that is perfect ones. Like I said, it's not perfectly even. I am still using the other placemats underneath, and so they want to curl up. I have to iron the napkins flat. They need good pressing, but they were just washed. And I mean, they have all those creases because I put them in the steam clean cycle, so it doesn't take very long because these made out of, okay, these are just polyester. It says machine wash in cold water with light colors. Use non-chlorinated bleach, and you can tumble dry on low. Okay, see. I don't even read them. I just assume that they were something a little fancier than just polyester. That's how they feel. They feel more like they're like a satin or silky. Just to them, not polyester. So I said, even I get fooled on what I own. Okay, so there's the table. And now I just have to get the other pieces that sit here. So that's going to be the candy dish, the napkins, and the salt and pepper shakers. So the candy dish I'm using is, this is not the one. That's the wrong one. The one that usually sits there is the one that matches these. It must have got put away and things got flipped around. Okay, so we just have like an assortment of just candy and cookies that just sit there. My little Fox salt and pepper shaker, I still have to put his little bow back on. And then my napkin holder. So these have been just always just sit out here, these yellow ones. I'm just looking. I've got 3 packs of these long ones, which worked good in my other napkin holder, but they don't really fit in this one. I don't want to squish the napkins to force them to fit. So these long ones, like Dollarama, so $1.50 a pack. I usually buy these for decoupage and crafts. Why these ones are opened. Oh, this one you got 14 napkins for $1.50. These ones were 18 for $1.50. Then I have this pack that I got after Christmas last year at Marshalls or Winners for $1.50. And they're a little smaller. It's not even in focus. Okay, they're a little smaller than my napkin holder. That's okay. So these, it says you get 20. Where is the open here? And I usually just stick napkins on top of napkins. And when I find my red ones, I'll replace them with these yellow, although the yellow give a nice contrast to the white and blue polar bears. But that just kind of gives me some Christmassy napkins for now until I'm able to find better Christmas napkins. Where's this, the bowl? Oh, it is the bowl. The pattern didn't look right, however I held it up. No. That is the serving bowl. Actually, these round things to me look more like Easter eggs, but that's okay. So now I have my kitchen table set up. So now I'm going to do my living room. Okay, so this is what my living room looks right now. I've got a few things up here that just need to be organized. What is it called? I can't even think. Oh, the switch. That's what it is. The switch has to get put back in under the cabinet. That's like a 2-person job. And then I just have some more Christmas decor that I had brought out that I'm going to be putting up on the top shelf. And then I have that basket, so those gray cushions. I'm going to be changing those up to make them look like Christmas cushions. And then I got to fix my couch because it just looks kind of bad because that's actually the duvet off my bed. Just last night, fell asleep watching TV. This morning, I just kind of threw it over top of the couch on the way to church. So I got to deal with that. And then my 2 table runners. Although I think I'm going to use this. I've changed my mind on where I'm going to put these. I'm going to use the Thomas Kinkade one on my coffee table and this one on the entertainment center. I think that's perfect. So I'm going to set those up now. Set my phone without dropping it. So this one's easy. Just I think it should fit here nicely, and it does. It's actually a lot longer than I thought it was. The tassels are actually touching the floor, and I'm just going to change the way so I can make sure that I'm properly in the frame. Because when I line it up, the tassels touch the floor. I don't know if I want that because of my animals. So I'm just going to see how long it would be on here. Just trying to get an estimate of how it would take up, most of it would take up the whole. Again, I'm not even in view. That's why I like to have my camera facing me so I can make sure I'm actually getting recorded from what I'm doing. So if I had it along here, it's going to take up the entire entertainment center. But this is the one I want to put on the entertainment center. I don't know how long it is. And I think I want to keep this one year round, just because the colors. Let's see. Again, it's a little tricky when there's stuff up here, but I'm just trying to get an estimate of how long it is. Yeah, that one's going to work. So I'm going to put this gray beaded one up here. And then I think this one here will just probably go up here then. Yes, that is going to work. I think this, okay, so I'm just going to have to move everything to get those up in place, and then I will be back. All right, I still have these that I got to figure out where to place them. These ones here, let's see, they have the pictures that will show up on the wall. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them. I just thought it'd be kind of neat to have them out. I'm not sure. They don't really work at this house. And then I've got these 3 tins houses. They had popcorn in them. I actually want to paint them and make them look like gingerbread houses. And then just all my computer stuff just needs to get organized. But there's the top of the entertainment center, and I don't know, it's cluttered, but with this on here, it doesn't look as cluttered. It looks like everything is like together. I still have to straighten it out. I'm going to have to move it. I'll have to pull it more down to the left, just because when I had it more the other way, the tower, the Wi-Fi tower, rotor box, whatever it's called, and my phone were tipping, and I can't afford to have those break. So I just kind of have to fix that little corner there or move it down a little more. Don't know. And then up here, I've got the Thomas Kincaid one up here. It works perfectly. I've had that for the last so many years across the top of my china cabinet. It's the best place for it. Do have a few things that I brought out, and I was able to get them up there. Not quite in the final position, but up along that shelf, and now I can look at them and decide, like my grouping of angels, they're kind of spaced out, and I like to have the tall one kind of in the center back. So I'll be, rearranging that stuff. And then put the reindeer blanket on the ottoman. I'm just leaving my blanket here. Just kind of fix the couch a bit. When my husband gets home, we'll be watching a Christmas movie tonight, so it's actually a really nice duvet to be snuggling under watching Christmas movies. And then there, I put the 2 gray pillows that were in the basket up there, and then the Christmas cushion sitting up. And then I did remember, yes, I made those at the other house, so probably 3 years ago, maybe 4, I can't quite remember. Because they were on the chairs at the other house. And then, and then this little one here, I just stuck it on this ottoman. It's blue and whatever, it kind of stands out, but then it just kind of looks a little bit nicer. And one of the things I do need is a better cover for my couch. These blankets, my dog, she's been chewing the blankets again, so can't look at that right this moment. And then my kitchen's still kind of a mess from yesterday baking the pies. But there's my kitchen table. I like how it looks. So I'm probably going to use just these. I'll probably get rid of these ones once I can get these to, iron flat. And then my front entrance, I'll be back tomorrow to do this up. That one picture keeps sliding down, and then I just have to get my ribbon and hot glue gun, and I'm going to put ribbon on these. I'm going to actually glue this onto here so it'll be permanently sitting like that. I don't burn my candles, but like I said, it was just the lid. So I just took the lid off. At first I was going to put it this way, which looks okay, if I can get viewed. Looks okay, but then I flipped the lid upside down, and I like the way that looked so much better. Then I guess I'm going to glue the candle onto this part, and I'm going to just tie seasonal ribbons on those. And then there, like that. I'll change up those flowers for more Christmassy flowers. And then my lilies, probably, I don't know if I'll keep the lilies like I did for the fall, just kind of stuck some fall ones in there, or if I'll just take the lilies out and put Christmas ones in. I haven't fully decided. And then I did have this bag of these moss balls that I had gotten secondhand for a few dollars. They said the original price was from Michael's, and it was like $14.99 or $16.99, something like that. So I paid like $6 for them. And you got nine, there's 3 different sizes. You get these 9 moss balls. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with them. I just threw them in this basket. Actually, now I'm looking at it, I think because there's 3 different sizes, maybe I'll make some little snowman topiary things. And then I did open this up, and they are strawberries, but I was like, one of my thoughts was, if I stick them in here, how it look. And just with the shape of them, they really took on the shape of strawberries. Didn't matter which way I had them going. And so I'm like, no, these are not going to work. Unless I just put them in a basket with some of my other faux fruit. I said, some of these, it was $1.50. It was a double pack. So I had 12 ornaments for $1.50 from a secondhand store a couple of years ago. And some of them are apples. And I know some of the apples I had used for a fall craft. And then, like I said, I had these two topiary balls, or your mistletoe ball, and I just stuck them there in that little basket for now. And then this other basket here, I just threw my pine cones in. Just they'll be out of my way, so I'll be decorating with those as well. But that is as far as I can get to tonight. I gotta hurry. My daughter will be off work fairly soon. And so, yeah, so I will be back tomorrow, and I want to do the ribbon on the china cabinet doors and the entertainment center doors. All right, so welcome back. So I'm going to put the ribbon on my china cabinet doors. So I have a mix of the candy cane striped velvet ribbon, and I have just the regular red velvet ribbon. And I'm actually going to start with the older ribbon I've had for a couple of years. So I'm going to do, I had my measurements to wrap around the entire door. And then I decided it's just going to be, let me speak. The amount of ribbon I would need to do that, because I'd figured out how much I needed, and it was just going to cost so much money. These ribbons, like, I bought this one a couple years ago. You're getting 30 feet for $2. Now this one is $2.50 for 15 feet, and this was $2.50 for 25 feet. So it's going to cost more money to wrap the entire doors, and you're not going to really notice it. So I went and I bought the instant tack. So I'm just going to cover just basically the outside of the door, a little bit inside so it wraps around. We barely open the china cabinet doors. So I decided I'm going to use the red, remember, vertically, and then the candy striped horizontally. I think that would look really good. So I'm just going to start with this one. And so I've got my measuring tape, scissors, and the sticky tack. So I'm just going to just have the ribbon just to here, and then curl down and then attach it at the bottom as well. like that. And now I'm going to use the candy cane stripe one, and I'm going to have it so the stripe is just below this first shelf, so it's not going to distract or you block the view of anything I have in my china cabinet. So it'll look like that. I'm going to do the same to the other door, and then I'm going to do the same to my entertainment center doors. And then for these ones, to put this, I don't want to block the handles, even though we don't really open, so it will go just above the handle. So it'll look like that. So I'll be back when I get the other 5 doors done. Right, so I've got all the ribbon on here for my entertainment center, because I got the 4 doors. I thought it'd be neat to alternate the pattern and see if I like it that way. And then I have whichever way the doors open, so your handle, so then where the things cross, so I'm not even in focus right here, so the handles are on these two, the main 2 doors. So then where the 2 ribbons cross is over to the side. And then I was also using the, oops, knocked a few of the pieces of ribbon off. I guess I'll fix that in a second. But I'm using like the door has like the window is and where the handles are. And that way, you know, this ribbon is up above here, so you can reach the doors and open them. I mean, there's only, I think, a couple. I think actually we do open all 4 doors in here. And then I'll have to go back and make sure that they're all straight, because the ribbons are actually lined up with the doors that they are on, but because my doors are all a little crooked, it makes it look like the ribbon going through the center is crooked. Just kind of tuck it like that so you can see how it looks. You can see that it is a bit crooked from going across, but that's an easy fix. That I just have to spend a few more minutes in straightening it out. And then same with the china cabinet. I have the red is right centered with the edge of the glass. And again, the doors are hung crooked. And so that looks, I think that one on that's the left one is actually, I can tell where I'm sitting. I do have it is slanted. So I will straighten that, but I can, just the doors themselves are hung crooked. So it's going to always make it look like the ribbon is crooked. So I'm going to not base it on the door. I'm going to base it on the ribbon itself. So then everything is level and straight. And then I will say, the older ribbon I had, you can see the package is damaged. So I thought it was just the beginning few pieces, but a lot of this ribbon is curled and folded in on itself in a lot of places. And I tried to straighten it and it doesn't want to straighten. So, okay, yeah, so it's folding in on itself. So I took this one off and I opened this new red velvet ribbon that's not damaged. And then for the candy cane one, I have just this one single piece of ribbon left. So that's taken almost the full 15 feet of the candy cane ribbon to do these 6 doors. And like I said, I'm not quite sure how much off of this one. This one was 25 feet. So I've got quite a bit left on this one. So I probably took maybe the same amount. I probably used the same amount of both ribbons. So again, it probably took close to 15 feet of this one, which is good. That's what I just needed to know. So I'm just going to fix these. I'm going to grab some more of the sticky tack stuff. It needs more. I was just using a small piece just to get everything kind of figured out how I want to do it. Now I'm going to go with a little more of this stuff and get the ribbon on good. So when doing this, I was just using a small piece. But because this ribbon is so wide, I think I'm going to put a piece of the sticky tack across the whole piece of ribbon, or at least in the corners. I'll just going to play around and see what works best. So I will be back. I'm just watching the clock. Yes, I got to head out to class tonight. So I'll be back tomorrow and I will do the same thing to my kitchen cabinets. All right, so welcome back. So I'm going to do the ribbon in my kitchen. And I've got this ribbon from Dollarama. It was $1.50 a roll, and it's 9 feet per roll. I bought 4 rolls. And this type of ribbon is a little different. It's got the wire in it. It's kind of like a mesh, but it has the waffle pattern, which means there's not really anything to enough fabric to use the sticky tack. So I'm just going to use safety pins on each of these cupboards. I'm going to do the one that's up here. Yeah, so I just have to make it a little tighter, but just the safety pin through the spaces of the ribbon. So I'm going to do that just for all of these cupboards. And for these ones, I'm just going to have the ribbon just going straight down the center because I'm also going to make wreaths later on as well. All right, so I was going to do that, but I went through almost a full roll just doing the one door. So I'm going to slightly change it. So I'm going to use just this shiny see-through ribbon just on the glass doors. So I have just the two there and the two up there. So I'm just gonna go and grab the other ribbon so I can just use just the tacky stuff and just have it on the front of the doors like I did in the living room. I just gotta go grab the other ribbon and the sticky tack. But I do like the way that looks with the glass doors. I know it's really hard. My kitchen just, the lighting in here is not the best at the moment. But so you can see through what's in the doors, which I like. So I'm going to keep that just for the glass ones, and I'll be right back. Yeah, so I've got that. That looks so much better, I think. Now I'm just going to do the upper cabinets above my fridge. And then I can do the stove one. So it's not going to take as much ribbon if I do it this way. Now I'll have to kind of decide how I'm going to attach the wreath to the doors, because part of my plan was wrap the ribbon around and then tie the wreath to the ribbon. So now I'm going to have to change that. So I'll probably have to run to the dollar store and get some of those little sticky hooks. So yeah, I'm just going to go and do the rest of the ribbon and I will be back. All right, so I got the ribbon all in place. So I've got the solid red, then I've got the glittered waffle weave pattern, and then up there, you know, the glitter, and then the solid red. And then on this side, I ran out of the red, so I am using the candy cane stripes. Although I think I might switch that around now I'm looking at it. These cupboards are the same size. So I'm going to take these two striped, the smaller or the longer cabinets on this side, and I'm going to flip them with the red on this side, just because I'm looking at it and I think I kind of like that, to have that pattern where it's, you know, like a kind of, just so not every cupboard is the exact same. So I'm going to flip those around. And then here's my living room. They still need to be straightened out a little. Like I said, it's the doors that are crooked, and then I think they are straight, and then I step back and it's like they are not straight. So I'm going to have when my daughter gets home today to help me straighten it. And then the cabinets here, I actually flipped the two on the right. So then I have, like, you know, striped with the candy cane, and then candy cane, because it's a solid, and then the striped, and then the striped with the solid, and this, you know, just back and forth. I just think it just looks so much nicer to give that alternating pattern. Those ones I actually did manage to straighten out. There might seem a little crooked. And then I don't know, I think because there's that space, like there's no space between the two doors that open, but there's the space between the other ones. I think I might just stick another strip of ribbon down those. And I can see that one on the far right, it's starting to, the short one is starting to fall, but that just needs a little more sticky tack. So yeah, I'm going to add some more ribbon to the entertainment center, just to kind of, that space just looks a little off to me. And I'd like to kind of have it similar to, like, all the ribbon that I'm using throughout to be the same. So maybe I'll grab some of that wired ribbon and slip a piece in there and see how it looks. Like I said, then I will, of course, flip these pieces, these ribbons around as well. So I'll be back when I get that done. All right, so I don't have enough ribbon. It just didn't work. So I'll have to leave my cupboards like this, which I think once the wreaths get put up, it'll probably look good. And then here I did stick that other ribbon there. It looks okay, but then again, now it just doesn't look right. So this ribbon doesn't want to stay stuck with the sticky tack. So I'm just gonna take it off, and it might look, I think I can make the doors look a little more festive when I add some more stuff to it. So I'm just gonna take this ribbon off. I think it just looks better without it. Yeah, I do. I think it just looks better without it. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So that is so far what I have got decorated for Christmas. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who subscribes to my channels and watches my videos. I will see you in the next ones. Bye.